Welcome back to the Friday Night Sports Show on Flow FM. We're chatting netball with our Eastern Eyre Netball Association correspondent, Joe Franklin. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dan. Yes, and welcome to you.
Thank you. It's good to be here. We'll get started. We're going to be looking at the Great Flinders Netball Association for starters. A-grade starting this weekend, I understand.
Yep, Great Flinders do start this weekend. There's only two associations that start this weekend on Eyres Peninsula, and Great Flinders is one of them and Port Lincoln are the other. So it's full on in both of those associations for sure. And Tumby Bay will host Cougars in the first round that starts tomorrow. So that will be very, very interesting. Should we have a little bit of a chat about that one?
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that game.
Okay, so been able to track down a little bit of information. Tumby Bay are being coached by Stacey Curtis and Carly Gunn. Stacey is pregnant, so she will miss, although knowing Stacey she won't, but probably a couple of weeks there. I think she's due around about July, so Carly will obviously help out there. But they've had a couple of outs. Well, they've had quite a few outs, but a couple of the ones from the A grade are Kennedy McNamara and young Sarah Laurie. But they've had some important ins come in. Marty Masson from Eyre United, Blaze Baldacera, Sarah Southern, Taylor Milligan's come from Eyre United, Tamika Kelly are all some ins for the Tumby side, and they've also been able to retain a couple of their handy juniors who had runs last year and certainly are shaping up to be some handy A-grade players in Maisie Curtis and Taryn Binky, and they also retain Summer Cave and the ever-reliable Ilka Stone. So they will certainly provide some experience in that side for Stacey and Carly. So all in all, they certainly are looking like shaping up as strong as what they were last year, and certainly I have no doubt will be pushing for a grand final spot again this year. They'll take on Cougars, who are being coached by Jet Green this year and have actually had a few major outs, just pregnancy, finishing school, moving on to uni and those sorts of things. They've lost Molly Burns, Ella Wedd, Caitlin Jacobs, Morgan McDonald, Ruby Green, Amy Fuss, Amisha Myers and Grace Burns. So quite a few outs there for Cougars, but they have been able to get a few new ones in. Sarah Laurie has gone to them from Tumby, so she'll be very handy in goals with Hannah Green. Lisa Boot, Bonnie Barnes, Charlotte Baines, Sian Islewood, Lacey Nash, Emily Anderson have all decided to go and play at Cougars, which is helping their numbers out a great deal. They've been able to retain Holly Gale, a really good young defender there, and I'm thinking that they'll be teaming her up with Jess Keller in defence, and I would think that young Billy Thompson, who's performed extremely well in the A reserves, will step up into the A grade there, and so I think Jack's probably putting together, it might take them a little while to gel, but putting together quite a handy side there. So, I think that Tumby probably in this first match, home game, and will want to get off to a winning start.
Plenty of player turnover there. How about the Elliston District's A-grade versus the Ramblers?
Yeah, look, Elliston last year's premiers, and not a lot of changes from last year because they've got so much depth. Obviously, Elliston Districts are a combination of Elliston and Western Districts who have amalgamated and moved into the Great Flinders League. So just quickly on Ramblers, Lisa Richardson, just a fantastic netballer who has been involved in netball for a long time and a very experienced, won plenty of Flo Polkinghorne medals in the Great Flinders League. She's actually taking on the coaching role at Ramblers A grade, and those girls are really lucky to have Lisa and all her experience to help them along the way, because they are going to be a young side. A couple of experienced players in there to help along the way, but I think that Lisa will certainly. They didn't have a very successful year last year. In fact, I'm not sure that they even won a game, but they certainly worked hard all year. But this year they'll certainly be looking to build on that. But Elliston, again, are being coached by Kate Baker, and she is certainly very well aware of what is happening in Great Flinders now. Last year was their first year, and the first round for her was certainly a learning experience, but she's got plenty of experience now, and she'll be looking to go back to back, I have no doubt. They've actually lost Zoe Phelps, Zali Ramsey, and a bit of a last-minute out there for them is Courtney Hull. So three very experienced, very talented players there. but they've got a couple who have come back in, so she's still putting together a pretty handy side. This week in goal shooter, she'll have Emmy O'Brien, and she'll team up with Rani Tomney, who has gone there from Central Air Storm. Amy Lynch and Lorena Heberman will make up the centre wing attack positions, and a young 15-year-old is going to make their debut in the A grade, Claire Daniel. So I think that she will learn very, very quickly from the experience that she's got around her, and the evergreen, fantastic, almost unbeatable defence line of Nikki Schubert and Kelsey Hull. They will join together again, making it very, very tough for all goaler combinations in Great Flinders. There's no doubt about that. They've also, on top of that, 7. They also can call on Tegan Hull. Rosie Romanich has come back, so just an evergreen Elliston player there, and they still have young Adele Shepherd, who is a developing netballer. But they can also then, Leah Forrest, who was certainly a major part of their side last year, she's about to run in a marathon, so she's going to miss the first couple of games while she prepares for the marathon. So as you can hear, lots of choices there for Kate in her A-grade side. But, yeah, I would think that first up, Elliston will be too strong. It's at home. I know that they have a hat party on afterwards for the first to celebrate the beginning of the season. So, wear your fanciest hat, and they've got prizes for the best hat and all those sorts of things happening. So, I think Elliston will be too strong.
Lock with the bye to kick off the season, an extra week of pre-season for them. So the last game of the first round will be United, Yilana and Eyre United. How do we see that one going?
Yeah, look, Eyre United have announced through their football that this is probably going to be their last season as a football competing as football netball in Great Flinders, which is a little bit sad, but with the way numbers are going and all those sorts of things, then I guess change is always on the go. But Patrina Fowler is coaching their A grade again this year. They've had quite a few outs. Auntie Little, Shanice Wells, Tanya Amos, Talina Flavel, Ruby Flavel and Renee Colbung have all returned to Lincoln. Marty Masson and Taylor Milligan have gone to Tumby Bay. So quite a few there out of their A-grade side. Some ins, Nadia Baldacera and Melinda Baldacera, both very handy netballers. Tammy Lucina is back, so another handy one, and Marty Hanrahan. So they've got a few ins. Unfortunately, probably not enough to cover their outs, but then they have quite a strong junior numbers, and some of those girls will definitely be coming through. United Yilana are being coached by Alyssa Skinner. Great to see her taking on that role. They've also had some major outs. One of the most major is Cassie Maxfield. She'll be out for this season. Kate Hancock, Sarah Dyer and Tegan Modra. Ins into their A grade. Young Maya Glover is coming up from their juniors, a very, very handy, strong player in the juniors. And Hallie Paul has gone to them from way back. Alyssa will be looking forward to putting this side together. I think it will take them a little while to probably adjust to each other, but she's got a good mix there with her and young Abby Cash in goals. And down the other end, she's got the experienced Jazz Francis, who's going to team up with young Maya. So good blend of experience and youth there, and I think they probably will, the game is out at Kaku, will come away with a win in their first game.
And all the same matchups going on in the A Reserve, B and B Reserve. So great to see plenty of netball going on in the Great Flinders League. Let's switch our attention over to the Eastern Eyre Netball Association, which isn't kicking off just yet. But let's take a look back to last season, and I'd like to hear a little bit about the A-grade premiers.
The Eastern Eyre competition doesn't start until the 22nd, and in that game, obviously, it will be Central Eyre that taking on Ports, and then the traditional Anzac Day game will happen on Anzac Day in Cow. Cow will take on the Eastern Rangers, but so we'll talk a bit more about that next week. Kimber will have to bye in that first round, but look, honestly, Eastern Rangers were the A-grade premiers from last year, and they have lost quite a few players this season heading off to uni or jobs in other places. So two of the biggest outs there, I think, will be Lauren Symes and Jordan, that she won the trophy in Eastern Eyre. And I just think that they're two huge outs, along with a couple of others that could be missing as well. So it will certainly bring them back amongst the rest of the pack, I would think. Central Eyre United also were in that game, and look, they, from what I can gather, looking at the Great Flinders lists, have lost Rani Tomney to Elliston. So very, very handy goalie. And if they have been not sure whether they have or haven't been able to replace her, but that will be an out for them. Kimber still have some good numbers, so I would be looking at them to still perform. Ports have been able to put an A-grade side together. They work so hard year in, year out to make sure that they do field that grade. And Cowler along the same lines. They lost a couple, have gained a couple. They now have a coach. I believe Tracy Mills is going to coach their A-grade this year. So all in all of these Eastern Eyre sides are still really trying to put together what combinations they're going to put out in the first game, because getting people to trainings and getting teams together and building up numbers has not necessarily been all that easy this season. So it'll be interesting to see just exactly what all those clubs do put up.
We'll chat more about the Eastern Eyre League next week before they kick off. Jo, thank you for your time and enjoy the netball this weekend.
No worries. Thanks heaps, Dan.